to sign these two players. Discussions are ongoing. There are good relationships between Chelsea and Manchester United, and Chelsea and RB Leipzig. They've already signed the likes of Liam Delap, João Pedro, Jamie Gittins already in this window, but there will be more signings. But at the same time, Chelsea were fined by UEFA in July for breaching financial rules. They've agreed with UEFA to balance their transfer spending this summer. So basically, they can sign players, but they can only sign players if by the end of the summer they have a positive value. So they're not inflicting or going against any of the rules whatsoever. So they have to have a positive value by the end of the summer. And that means there is going to be plenty of sales between now and the 1st of September.
So who's on their way out of Chelsea?
So many names. I'll rattle through them. Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall looks like he's on his way to Everton. Everton and Chelsea have agreed a deal that's worth £29 million, including performance-related add-ons. We reported earlier that Fulham had been looking at Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall earlier on in this transfer window. Looks like he's on his way now to Everton.
It's not worked out for him there, is it? At Chelsea?
Yes and no. I mean, we thought it would, didn't we? Because Enzo Maresca was his manager at Leicester City. Didn't probably get the opportunities he was expecting to get. But there's so many players at Chelsea that he's going to compete with. And at the start of the window, he wasn't one of those names that we expected to leave Chelsea. We thought that he was going to stay. But given the number of players that they bought and the interest that has been generated in him, Chelsea probably reluctantly have accepted this deal with Everton. Armando Broja, he's still a Chelsea player. He's another player who could be on his way out of Stamford Bridge. Burnley remain in talks with Chelsea over a deal for the striker. There's a broad agreement, we're told, on many aspects of this deal. It's just the structure of that deal that needs to get ironed out between the two clubs. Personal terms over a 5-year contract, we believe, are not expected to be a problem, and there seems to be a willingness from the player and both clubs to get this deal over the line.
Does he score enough goals for clubs to be interested in him?
He had that fantastic period, didn't he, with Southampton, particularly in the first half of that season on loan for Southampton, which has carried quite a lot of weight. That's shown he has been able to score goals in the Premier League. He's had terrible injury problems, though, and probably hasn't had the run of games that he would have wanted. If he can get a fresh start and move away from Chelsea on a permanent basis, maybe that might help as well. Give him a home, give him a bit of stability that he knows he's going to be at a certain club for a certain amount of time, with a manager and a club who are going to say, you're our main guy, we want you to start every single game. So maybe that will help someone like Armando Broja to really kickstart his career again and maybe show the form that he did when he played for Southampton. Burnley aren't stopping there with regard to Chelsea players either, because they are close to signing Leslie Ugachukwu. That permanent deal is now agreed. He's agreed a 5-year contract in principle. We think in the next 24 to 48 hours, Ugachukwu will have a medical. They're not the only players who are potentially leaving Chelsea. Marc Guiu, we were speaking about last week, he was supposed to have a medical at Sunderland. I think the flight got postponed, but Keith Downey, our reporter up in the North East, said that hasn't impacted on the deal at all. He is still expected to join Sunderland, and they're also listening to offers for Raheem Sterling, who was on loan at Arsenal last season. He's come back to Stamford Bridge for now, but clearly is not part of the plans under Enzo Maresca, and Carney Chukwuemeka as well. There are a few German clubs who are interested in him.
That's a load of players. Do they have to do that? Do they have to offload these players?
You know what? Financially, they'll probably want to do it just to put themselves in a good position for future transfer windows. But I think just for squad size more than anything else, Chelsea won't want to work with the squad where they've got a set of 20 to 25 players on one side of the training pitch and a load of other players who aren't involved away from the main first team squad. So I think Enzo Maresca will want to work with the squad that he knows is going to be available for him every week.
Yeah, absolutely. James, Dharmesh mentioned Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall. What's the latest on him?
Well, things are looking slightly better for Everton now. We spoke last week and David Moyes was very unhappy, wasn't he, on the US pre-season tour, because he said players are turning down Everton. They don't want to sign for Everton. He wants to sign up to 10 players in this transfer window. So it looks like Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall will be on his way. Tyler Dibbling, less sure. Everton have had another bid rejected by Southampton for Tyler Dibbling. So impressive in the Premier League, his first season in the Premier League last season. There's plenty of interest in this player. We understand this was a really significant bid Everton put in, £35 million plus £8 million in add-ons. Southampton now relegated to the Championship. They start their campaign this weekend. They value him at £45 million. So you wouldn't think Everton are too far off. You'd imagine Southampton want a bit more money guaranteed rather than having that £8 million in add-ons. It remains to be seen how high Everton go if they go back in with another bid. We know Everton are desperate to get players in. So much enthusiasm ahead of this new season in a new stadium, but the squad isn't quite there. Yes, they have signed players, but 11 players left in the summer, either in terms of transfers or the end of their contract. So Everton need to do business. David Moyes wants players through the door. This player could light up the Premier League next season.
Sometimes football fans can be impatient. You want Xavi Simons immediately. Someone told you he's already done. Calma. My feeling is Xavi Simons to Chelsea will happen, but remember what I told you, it was start of last week. Selling players will be the next step. Then Xavi Simons and Garnacho are two priorities for Chelsea, and Chelsea are into it. Because this Monday was probably one of the busiest ever seen in terms of outgoings for Chelsea. Let's recap all the news of the day. Exclusive story. Kiernan Desbury Hall leaves Chelsea and joins Everton. Permanent transfer. The transfer fee will be £25 million plus £3-4 million in add-ons. So total package worth around £29 million. Long-term contract for the player, authorized to travel for medical and contract signing. So Desbury Hall, midfielder, leaves Chelsea and goes to Everton. Then midfield talks again. Another story. Leslie Ugochukwu, the French midfielder, leaves Chelsea and goes to Burnley. Permanent transfer also in this case. Transfer fee around £20 million, slightly in excess of this. I will be more clear in the next days. But Leslie Ugochukwu leaves Chelsea. Permanent transfer too, and trust me guys, when it's permanent transfer and it's not a loan with option, a straight loan or these kind of things, it's a big difference. Obviously, Chelsea are getting important money, many players are getting sold on permanent transfer, and that's going to be very important. So, Ugochukwu to Burnley, Armando Broja to Burnley, deal done, medical done. Then, Kiernan Desbury Hall to Everton, £29 million, and then Carney Chukwuemeka getting closer to Borussia Dortmund. This deal could be done any moment, because another exclusive story from the morning, talks have accelerated. Today, between Chelsea and Dortmund, Chelsea sent again a clear message to Dortmund, forget about a loan. Dortmund have been pushing for a loan the whole month of July, but Chelsea clearly told, permanent or nothing. Chelsea spoke about Carney with Leipzig, but the player wants to go and play for Borussia Dortmund. He wants to give priority to Borussia Dortmund. He was happy there on loan, and so now the agreement for Carney to Borussia Dortmund is getting closer between Chelsea and BVB. Agreement with the player already done, personal terms agreed, and so now Carney, Desbury Hall, Armando Broja, Leslie Ugochukwu, João Félix is already gone. Then, let me remind you all the rest, because Chelsea are working also to Marc Guiu to Sunderland, also is another deal agreed, straight loan in that case. But then Sterling will go, Nico Jackson can go, Nkunku will go, so Tyrique George can go on permanent transfer. Big movements, and this means that Chelsea will be soon ready to attack for new signings. Calma, relax, because the negotiations with Leipzig continue. For Xavi Simons, the player has been very clear with Leipzig in the recent days, as I told you, he wants to go to Chelsea, but obviously selling all these players is helping Chelsea to generate money, to generate income, to do an important job. There will be more to do, because then there are also the defenders, Disasi and more, so Chelsea will be working on more outgoings, but Chelsea are doing a very good job on that, and now focusing soon on closing Xavi Simons, already very advanced, and then Alejandro Garnacho, who is patiently waiting for Chelsea football clubs. Some clubs are calling around Europe, Germany, Italy, Saudi. Garnacho wants to go to Chelsea.